seat you know I want, and just forgot to choose. I guess you're doing your job. What a job to do. Look at us trying to. Look at us trying to move through this world like it's our to move through this world like it's our world. And for the mom running stoically through each kid unfriendly gauntlet, doing the work of two. When the boarding process drops her off next to the childless man of business, whose cares are few, enough to voice his problems with her toddler on fumes. I heard her tell him off like, who the hell are you to assess this job that you could never do? Just put your headphones on and then away we flew. Refuse me the seat you know I want.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, podcast fans of all ages. I am Dave Valente, and joined tonight by Sir not appearing in this film, Dan the Man Fishman. Cleverly disguised as an empty chair, but good to see Dan on the show tonight. But anyway, we got a busy show. I'll hide Dan until he can get the interview. He was watching the Dallas Cowboys take it to the Philadelphia Eagles tonight. No, he's pretty happy about that. But yeah, we're talking gratitude tonight. And oh, there's Dan. We'll bring him on. Man, myth, legend.
I'm here. Don't start the show without me.
Sir not appearing in this film.
What's happening, Dave?
Not much, man. How happy are you? with
Well,
Dallas?
I'm furious, and I'll tell you why. Because I'd gotten to the part of the season where I'm like, thank God, everybody's going to finally realize we got to get rid of Dak Prescott because Dak is an 80% great quarterback, 20% fucktard. And it just so happens, I mean, you even saw it a little bit in this game, but he put together 3 good quarters. And that was enough. And the Cowboys defense played great, surprisingly. So I was pretty happy with that.
I was lucky because I had Jahmyr Gibbs on my fantasy football team. He got me 57 points. Yep. The rest of my team got like single digits. Jahmyr Gibbs, and well, I did have Jalen Hurts, and the controversy with Jalen Hurts is starting to. It's going to get even worse this week,
yeah.
I think.
No, I mean, I have never thought that Jalen Hurts was any good. The interesting thing for me, so I had I'm in a DraftKings league, which I've invited you to several times, and you haven't joined us. The Patriots are looking good. Where essentially it's a daily fantasy. We all put our team in, and It's $5 for every entry. First person takes 90%. Second place takes 10%.
I don't want to donate money. Like
You might win. I mean, if you had Jahmyr Gibbs, so
yeah.
Jahmyr Gibbs was on my team, and I had 58 points. And actually, I was in second place until there was like 5 minutes left in the game. 5 minutes left in all the games.
Yeah.
And I had Shedeur Sanders as my starting quarterback. How crazy is that? But I did the Shedeur Sanders, Jerry Jeudy stack, a popular strategy in daily fantasies to stack the number one receiver with your quarterback, because then when he throws to him, you get a lot of points all at once. So Jerry Jeudy had an unbelievably stupid play where he had caught the ball. And I mean, and like this is in the history of like stupid plays by Cleveland players. He caught the ball and he's dodging guys in front of him, and he stops for a second to like put a little juke on him. But there's a guy chasing him from behind who just knocks the ball right out of his hand. Exactly. So if Jerry Jeudy had gotten credit for that catch and yardage, I would have won my fantasy game.
Oh, that's
at the end, I lost. I ended up coming in second place by 3 points, 181 to 183 points. And and it was because the guy I was playing against had Jacoby Brissett, who just had a great fourth quarter. But if I had Devontae Smith going, if Devontae Smith had caught one pass on the Eagles' last possession when they went 3 and out, which is just crazy. If he caught one pass for 10 yards, I would have won my game. Anyway, the Patriots are looking good. They might be the best team in the AFC right now, but I do put a lot of caution in. I listen to Games with Names, the Julian Edelman podcast, and one of the things he talked about, he said, "Look, Patriots probably are the best team right now, and they've got a great coach in Mike Vrabel. But," he said, "I can tell you because I've been there, the first time you play in the playoffs is a different feeling in the NFL.
sure.
And you wouldn't think that teams could play harder, but they do. Everybody plays so much harder in the playoffs."
Yeah.
He's like, and so,
And so some teams, and we see this in the NHL, some teams kind of slow roll that regular season,
yep,
just get in the playoffs, and then
Yeah.
when the playoffs, I mean, look at the Florida Panthers the last couple of years.
Yep.
They would win the President's Trophy and then crash out in the first round, and they started, coming in second, third, maybe in a wild card position, and they started making the Cup Finals and winning the finals. So,
Yep.
yeah, I mean, you get the experienced teams are
Yeah. I mean, I've heard
to
people
play for
talk
the
about that, especially in the hockey. They need to make the home field advantage, home ice advantage a little bit bigger. What I've heard proposed, or maybe it was just me who proposed it, is that if you get the home ice advantage, not only do you get more games at home, but the ice will be tilted.
It's just a little tilted. It's like a quarter inch.
Slightly
The problem is-
downhill.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I get. Well, I don't know. Yeah, that'll be interesting. But yeah, I'm wearing my Sabres hat. They won today. They won 2 in a row, which is amazing.
Huge win over Chicago.
Yeah, they're starting to get healthy, and that's the thing for this team. They've dealt with a lot of health issues. They've been very inconsistent. But yeah, they're starting to get their big players back in the lineup, and their big players starting to go again. Like Tage Thompson now has goals in six straight games. First time since 2006 that a Sabre scored in 6 straight games.
Wow.
So yeah, things are looking up. But the team confounds me because they so the last week and a day they beat Detroit. They fell down 4-1 and had a great comeback in the third period. And Tage Thompson with just a phenomenal move in overtime to win to get Alex DeBrincat off the puck and win in overtime. And then they beat
Blackhawks.
Well, no. The next game they beat Edmonton. They beat Edmonton. They handled
Right.
Edmonton 5-1.
Right.
So 2 in a row. They're feeling good. In comes Calgary Flames, last place team in the Pacific Division.
Yeah.
And they lose. Like they don't look good at all. Like, and Calgary's coming in on a second game of a back-to-back, and they're you get to the third period and you think, all right, Buffalo's got they've got the juice to carry this game. It was tip tied going to the third, and they just shat the bed the rest of the game. Then
Yeah.
you bring in Chicago. Chicago is on a heater,
Yeah.
and they beat them 9-3, and then they beat Carolina today handily 4-1. I
Yeah.
posted a goal from that game, Beck Mallenstein's goal. Beck Mallenstein is a fourth liner. He's an energy checking guy.
Yeah.
He scored an absolutely sick goal today. So check that out if you can.
I will check that out. I will say the Blackhawks are playing pretty well, but they are suspect at goal, and you can't. You're not going to win if that's a problem. I don't like Soderblom. I don't like Knight.
Yeah, Sabres victimized Soderblom. I was surprised they didn't pull him in that game, but
I mean, you pull the guy to bring in the guy that you're trying to rest. I don't know.
That's true.
I mean, maybe they should just put in the emergency goalie.
The E-Bug. Yeah,
exactly.
So
awesome.
Just grab some guy from the stands and let him play the rest of the game.
Yeah, it's a guy from Beer
It's worked. It's worked before, so I mean,
the
David Ayers.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's a few classic examples. So one of the things that I love about things. So Heartland News. That's not Joe. It's not. You're not Joe Bast, are you?
No, it's I can see him right now. I can see his picture. Illinois.
Joe Phillips.
No.
The police guy.
No.
Evan. All right.
Or you can identify yourself.
My friend Joe has a pack in the Midwest called Heartland. But so talking about the Bears win was insane because they looked good throughout the whole game, but they had 9 starters out on defense. I mean, it's just insane to play with that. They had 3 guys starting who weren't on the team 3 weeks ago. It's crazy. Such a great. Janice, we'll get off the sports in a little bit, but
yeah, we got plenty to talk about this week.
We got plenty to talk about. Well, in fact, maybe that's our sign. Maybe we should start talking about being thankful for every listener on this news feed.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, that by far one of the most things that I'm most grateful for is that we entertain folks. We get folks here every week. And we're able to have a conversation with them and talk about the issues of the day. And really that's the best thing about this is being able to have those conversations and talk not only with you and AJ and Joe and Ari and everybody else who joins us, but on the line with everybody making comments here while we're talking. Post in the thread what you're thankful for this year. We'll talk about that as well.
Yeah, I want to follow up on that. And that it's really great to be in a place where your positions can be challenged, because I never want to, even though I sound very confident, I am convinced that I usually am wrong. I just haven't met the person who can convince me yet. And so I'm constantly looking for that person and trying to get them to engage me in a conversation so that I can be proven wrong. Just doesn't happen a lot. But it's something to be grateful for. I was thinking about that. I get a lot of comments about sort of the diversity of my wall in Facebook, and that I have, some real socialists. Crazily enough, so here's a sort of political shocker. I think I've mentioned before the libertarian daughter that I never had, Heather Mullins.
Yes.
I don't know if you are friends with her, probably not on Facebook.
I don't know.
So
Probably one of my Facebook iterations.
she posted today that she has been appointed to the Pentagon News Corps. How crazy is that shit?
Did
Pretty
she
crazy.
sign the thing?
She did sign the thing.
Wow.
Yep. I mean, listen, she is. I mean, listen, she is a struggling single mom
No.
trying to make it in media.
Okay.
By signing that, she then got picked up by a network who wants to have somebody there, but don't want to have their name associated with it. So she's going to be providing coverage for a network to be named later that doesn't have to sully their name by saying, "Oh, we signed the thing."
Yeah. So kind of like a pool reporter.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
Exactly.
Hey.
Yeah. No, I'm psyched for her.
Yeah. It's Jake is the Heartland News feed.
Jake Leonard.
Yeah.
From Iowa, not Indiana, not Illinois.
Well,
I think Jake.
One of them states.
Right. Right. It's a Big 12 state. Actually,
yeah.
Illinois is not Big 12. But it's a state that grows corn. Let's clarify it like that. So you've been playing Magic the Gathering without me? Dude, that's uncool.
Oh my God. Yeah. So I guess let's start talking about some of the news this week before we get into our sessions on gratitude and how to express it and all that good stuff and what we're grateful for. So we, Sunday night, Trump reverses himself completely and says, "Hey, I'm going to support releasing the Epstein files." Ahead of the House vote. At that point, it was looking like there was going to be about 100 Republicans that are going to support the Epstein files release, which was going to be a huge loss, huge embarrassment for the president. Whether it was going to be 2/3 at that point to be veto proof, still was, maybe not. However, when he released them to vote how they wanted to, it turned out that 400, well, all but one. I think there's a couple open seats right now. But all but one,
Louisiana.
Yeah, one guy named Clay Higgins from Louisiana, who was so bad that he was kicked off the police force in Louisiana, which is quite a feat when you think about it. But he was the one lone vote to not release the Epstein files. Goes to the Senate. The Senate votes by unanimous consent, which means they didn't take a floor vote. But to get unanimous consent, it's essentially everyone agrees that the bill should pass and sent to the president. President signed it. Now, in the build up to this, last week you heard a ton of things where the president was like, "We should investigate all the Democrats." Now, might be a little bit sneaky on the president's part because the president was a Democrat back in the days when he was hanging out with Jeffrey Epstein. And by investigating the Democrats associated with Jeffrey Epstein, did he buy himself some more time by allowing the Department of Justice, because that was part of the bill, is that if it's part of an active investigation, it the Department of Justice can deem that it can't be released. So did he buy himself some more time by saying that the Democrats involved should be investigated?
I want to say two things. First, Donald Trump is still the largest single donor to Hillary Clinton's Senate campaign, a fact that is unlikely to change. Secondly, you were talking about the Louisiana legislator, Clay Higgins.
Clay Higgins, yeah.
And you were saying that getting kicked off the police force
in Louisiana
is an impressive feat.
An impressive feat.
I just want to point out and say that is a feat of Clay. Oh. Dude, I had to sit on that for like 3 minutes. It was killing me here. Anyway.
Oh my God.
It is. What's interesting about it, though, is that really not much has come out in the last week, even though everything's supposed to be renewed. So it's been much ado about nothing. I mean, there are a few comments about some emails here and there, but
those were the emails that were released last week after the election. So yeah.
So just because a politician says they're going to do something, that's not the same as them actually doing it.
It's the speed of government. Nothing goes fast in government. Like So one of the things that we've been dealing with in my job is that the annual cost of living adjustment for veterans. The bill was passed by the House and the Senate on passed the final part, which is the House. Started in the Senate, went in the House on November 12th. Has not been transmitted to this president for the president to sign it. We can't put the cost of living adjustment, which we pay a month in arrears when it comes to VA benefits, compensation benefits, and that means the pay line changes on 12/1. So we
Right.
are rapidly running towards 12/1. So hopefully at some point this week the bill gets sent to the president. President signs it so we can do the release on Sunday, and reduces a lot of the stress in my life.
That would be nice.
Yeah,
Um,
reduce a lot of the stress in veterans. 6.7 million veteran awards will have to get changed. Whether they get pension or compensation benefits.
or
Uh,
disability, or
yeah, it's the disability compensation. Yeah.
right. So let me ask you this: you say 1 month in arrears. So if it were to be signed tomorrow, they would get what they were missing from their October payment.
No. So they uh, essentially when you get authorized or a new award or new grant of compensation benefits, you get granted on the first of the following month, and that following month it doesn't pay until that following month. So, like if you got granted today,
Yeah.
your first award will be effective December 1st of this year, and you wouldn't get a check until January 1st.
Gotcha.
And so December 1st is when we change the pay line, so that on January 1st everyone's pay reflects the new cost of living adjustment. So that's what, and we have to have it done no later than the middle of the month, or it becomes a major pay issue.
Yep.
So pray for some common sense to happen there.
All right. Well, I would hope that some senator or House member would just say, "Okay, here are the papers. I'm releasing them now."
Well,
Everybody,
it has,
the government said we could.
yeah,
The
yeah,
president signed it.
yeah.
And then if
And
somebody
that-
wants to complain about, oh, you didn't follow protocol. Oh, sorry, I didn't realize what the protocol was. They
Yeah.
claim ignorance.
it's always easier to beg for
Maybe
forgiveness
that's
than
what
to ask permission.
maybe that's what Marjorie is planning on doing.
Maybe. So, I mean, that's the other thing that really busted out this week is that at the end of the week, on Friday night, Saturday night, Marjorie Taylor Greene releases this long video that could have been an email, talking about how she's been victimized and threatened, and the president's abandoned her, um, and that she is going to resign from Congress effective January 5th. I've seen a lot of people post that the January 5th is important because it allows for her to get more of a pension. Um, uh, you know, I've seen some people say that this is some brave maneuver by Marjorie Taylor Greene to really hold the president to
Honestly,
account.
it's cowardice.
It's cowardice to an extent, but it's also, I mean, she has greatly profited off of the Donald Trump administration. I mean, the insider trading alone is amazing. She's also it profited off the fact that Donald Trump is a political figure here in the United States,
Yeah.
and that she,
Well, and she had the same inside information as all the other Republicans about the crypto stuff that was going to happen.
oh yeah, and well, in tariffs too. When the tariff,
Yeah.
when he started making adjustments to tariffs, they got
Yep.
the advance notice to make move their stocks and take advantage of that. So not just crypto, to stocks, all of that insider trading in Congress is trash.
Right. It's been an enormous pilfering. I mean, it's an interesting thing because a lot of libertarians will tell you that they don't think insider trading should be illegal, and I actually kind of agree with that. I think fraud should be illegal. I shouldn't be able to tell you, oh, my stock's going to do great, and get you to buy it and pump up the price, and then dump it myself.
Yeah.
However, the idea that my company is about to go public, or my company is public, but we're about to announce a great product, and I tell my friends, hey, my company's doing great, you should buy some stock in it. I don't understand how that could possibly be considered a crime.
No, but I mean, I get it's for me. It's like if it's a crime, then it should be illegal for the people in power to do it.
Well,
If
the
It-
people in power have different privileged information.
yes.
And that's why, right, the very aptly named Stock Act, which was the first one that stopped them. Do you remember what the acronym stood for?
Stop trading
On congressional
on
knowledge.
congressional.
Great name.
Yeah,
Great
it is
name. And
great.
that's exactly it. And that's what they should have done is said, don't trade to people. Don't let
Thank you, Heidi.
Congress people enrich themselves by using knowledge that they get because of their office. That is supposed to be privileged information.
Yeah.
And more than that, it's things that they could actually have a financial incentive in, right? If you're able to slow something down for one day as a senator by filibustering it, you shouldn't be doing that to make more
Make more
money on
money.
the stock market.
But
So
and this is
go ahead.
not just a criticism of Marjorie Taylor Greene or the Republicans, because we know that we know that Democrats have certainly participated in this scheme as
For
well.
sure. It was
You
Nancy
know,
Pelosi who led the repeal of the Stock Act.
yeah, yeah. Nancy Pelosi, Bob Menendez, who went to jail on other things, but definitely took advantage of insider trading as well.
Yeah.
We've seen, as we know, with a lot of the bad things that are going on in Washington, it really is a bipartisan effort
Yeah.
to game the system to essentially make them lots of money. While while the stuff that they do, if we did it, we'd be going to jail for it.
It is astonishing. So I watched a long video today on the decline of eating out, eating in restaurants in the United States. And part of what they talked about is
I thought
how,
that was going to go a completely different direction, but
yes, yes,
hey.
exactly. We thought it was a different kind of eating out. That may or may not be declining. I can't speak to it. But I do think that they talked about the fact that, it's incredibly expensive to go to a restaurant now. It's not like, what's up, Brandy? It's not like, what we remember, where, you would go out to lunch and you'd say, okay, my goal is to spend less than $7 on lunch. So it's almost impossible today.
Oh, God, yeah.
And if you want to have a couple drinks, you're talking about an enormous amount of money. And I'm a guy who likes to have a couple drinks at lunch. So, and then, the chain restaurants now, Applebee's, Fridays, those sort of restaurants, they don't actually make food anymore. Everything comes sort of prepared and they put things into containers and they serve them. So everything seems the same. And then just as a result, it's really declining. And it's because essentially customers can't really afford to pay a lot of money. So they're cutting corners in other places.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons why is because everybody who is possibly doing something illegal in government to enrich themselves is doing it now. With very, very few exceptions.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, even Bernie Sanders is a millionaire.
Yeah.
It's an astonishing thing that it has been a
I wasn't asking for your money.
Yeah, exactly. The campaign is doing very well. Among women who braid their armpit hairs, they're polling at 87%.
Well, hey, he's not the only one having the issues with polling numbers. Like Donald Trump is saying that he's got I've seen it reposted several times on social media that Donald Trump says he's getting the highest numbers of any president of any time.
Yeah.
It's like Baghdad Bob at this point.
Yeah, it's baffling his lack of perception. And what's interesting about it is the number of people who repeat that sort of thing, thinking that it's really true. I was engaged in a crazy.
I don't think they think it's really true. I mean, I think they're just.
They think
I
everybody
think
else is
people
liars. Are liars.
Yeah, I think a lot of them are gaslighting it. Kind of this idea of faking it till you make it. The idea that repeat the lie enough that it becomes the truth.
Right.
And like Derek Evans, who this is the one person I saw post the the retruth that, or the truth that Pravda essentially
Yep.
that Donald Trump had put out about his poll numbers. Derek Evans is famous for being a West Virginia legislator who, uh, 2 or 3 days after he was sworn into the House of Delegates in the West Virginia legislature, went to Washington D.C. and stormed the Capitol and filmed himself doing it.
Right.
And went to jail for a little while. Lost his delegate gig. Now he's trying to run for Congress. But these are the types of people that want this to be true. They want to believe that everyone is in their corner. And I mean,
Well,
did you
but
not watch what happened early in November?
and they talk about being entitled to their version of the facts, which is just super insane. But it is
Fake news.
It is where the world is,
Yeah.
and that's the interesting question that I think about most. I think I've mentioned it before in Judaism. There's this idea of tikkun olam, that there is a burden put upon the Jews to fix the broken world. You don't get any reward for it. Tough shit. That's just the job that you got. And it's why so many Jews are doctors, because it sort of fulfills that idea of fixing the broken world. But I think about it a lot in terms of how broken American politics are right now. And I was watching, I think we would all agree, the greatest hockey movie of all time.
Slapshot.
Miracle. What were you going to say? Slapshot?
Slapshot.
Slapshot's great. I can't deny that.
Great soundtrack too.
Yeah, great soundtrack. Very funny. The Hanson brothers, who went on to record that Mbop song. But Miracle is pretty amazing.
Miracle is a good. It's a intense movie.
It's an amazing story, right?
Yeah.
And at one point in time, they're playing a speech that Jimmy Carter gave in sort of the background.
The malaise speech. Yes.
Yeah, the crisis of confidence speech.
Yeah.
And it's a fascinating thing. And I went back and looked at it. There's a lot of stuff that's sort of pertinent to where we are, in that we have lost faith. And I think this is true on both sides in the idea of America. Because the one thing that Republicans and Democrats agree upon is that America has failed them.
Yeah. There are a lot of parallels with the end of Nixon, end of Watergate, the flux of America. We're coming out of the Vietnam War, the
Yep.
hyperinflation or stagflation at that point. I mean, there are so many things hitting, and I think
The hostage
this
crisis.
next year, this next year is going to be very brutal when it comes to the economy.
Yeah.
I think we're going to be hitting a really hard recession
Yep.
this next year. And thinking of the major historical backdrops that are coming up against 1976, we have the 200th anniversary now, and the 250th anniversary of the United States.
Yeah, exactly.
You've got a unpopular president. Gerald Ford was an unpopular president back in the late 70s,
Yep.
mid 70s, having pardoned Richard Nixon after, when he came into power.
Right. And also, Ford was never really elected to higher
No.
office.
No,
He
he
was elected
replaced
in Michigan.
Yeah, he replaced Spiro Agnew. He's the only president who was never elected by a nationwide vote.
Yeah.
Because he was replaced Spiro Agnew and was nominated by the Senate.
Yep.
and served.
Exactly.
Nominated by Nixon, elected
Right.
by the Senate to serve.
The only president to have never had an electoral vote cast for him.
Yeah.
Actually, that's not true. George Washington never did either.
I don't know.
I don't think they have
the Electoral College. Well, the Electoral College was a thing.
All right,
let's
we'll have
see.
to. But while Dave looks that up, I'm going to talk a little bit too about this idea that maybe what happened then was there's this idea that America is so broken that every side started to agree things suck. And maybe that is the thing that that unites us. To go back to another pop culture reference, I'm going to reference the movie Stripes, where people might remember Bill Murray is able to rally all the troops together to prepare for their parade and graduation by saying, you know, who here cried at the end of Old Yeller? Like, right? It's like, America is the lovable mutt. Our ancestors were kicked out of every decent country in the world. But that's what brings us together, is this idea that we're not like anything else. And then he goes on to talk about how, we've been shit on, blah, 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 all that stuff. Maybe things are going to be so bad that that's what unites us. And we're able to say, oh my God, it's terrible.
I think, I mean, we're starting to see it though. I mean, you're starting to see like Trump has hemorrhaged the independent vote, and they've gone to the left. This is not and to me, this is not
it's not a right left thing. Yeah,
but it's not a great thing because again, we've talked about the fear of having a left version of Trump come into office and wreaking havoc. Oh, by the way, George Washington in 1789 got 69 electoral votes.
All right, then that's a great trivia question. Who is the only president to serve who got no electoral votes?
Washington got 69.
Yeah. Nice.
That's
funny. It's interesting, actually. LBJ got electoral votes as vice president, and then he won again in 1964.
Yeah.
Truman got electoral votes in
48. Was it 48? Well, no, 48 was his first election as president.
Right.
He got it in 44 when he was running as vice president.
Right. He was vice president. Right. He was Eisenhower's vice president in 44. It's interesting that Eisenhower replaced Roosevelt. Right. It's interesting that Roosevelt replaced vice presidents.
Oh, yeah. I think he had 3.
Yeah, I'm not sure. That's
the first 2 terms he had the same vice president. Third term he had a different vice president.
Yeah. That's a very interesting.
Youngblood is a very good hockey film. Lots of good
Youngblood. Yeah, I mean, I can't argue that it's also a very good hockey film.
Keanu, but Patrick Swayze.
Yeah,
Pablo. Yeah.
I don't know. For me, a couple of things that I love about Miracle. First of all, it's a real story. Secondly, it's unfucking believable they beat the Russians. That team was so good. It's insane. They talk about it during the movie that the team was on a 42-game winning streak when they played the Americans. In that 42-game streak, they had beaten the NHL All-Stars 6-1.
Yeah,
just insane. So it is all the reasons why Miracle is a great film. But for us, coming out of this, and this is where we can sort of circle into the things that I'm thankful for. I think that I'm thankful, and it's why I wore this shirt. Let it not be said that we did nothing, Ron Paul. Young Americans for Liberty, an organization that has been a little tarnished. Not a little tarnished. Let's be fair about the
Cliff,
stuff that people have said, right? Cliff, and a lot of allegations of sexual assault, sexual impropriety. I know several friends
turning a blind eye to it.
Well, not just turning a blind eye, but there were people who were involved in it.
Yeah, involved in covering it up.
Yeah. And that was that's a terrible thing.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that I think that that's over. I think that people can continue to talk about that, and whatever consequences people think should happen, I think that's a good discussion to have, a good and healthy discussion to have. But the fundamental idea, and we talked too about, Ron Paul's legacy is a little tainted by the newsletters, even recently, There was an anti-Semitic cartoon that his Twitter page published. A lot of stuff around that.
It is support for Mises. Like in my mind.
Yeah,
I mean, like I don't think he's all there.
yeah, exactly. So in this case, I'm reminded of the of Nikki Glaser, and it's the roast of Alec Baldwin, and a lot of people on the dais, including Robert De Niro, and she roasts him a little bit for being so short and so old at this point in time, stuff like that. She said, Dennis Rodman, you're here. You have done so many drugs that I'm worried that your brain has turned to oatmeal. Look, Robert De Niro got excited when I mentioned oatmeal. This is one of my favorite burns. We are Ron Paul supporting Mises. That's like him getting excited about oatmeal. He didn't know any of the details. There wasn't anybody with good enough access to explain them.
I think, Ron's great sin is that he surrounded himself with bad people.
Yeah.
He surrounded himself, whether it was
Lou
Tom
Rockwell.
Woods, Lou Rockwell,
Yeah.
all these people that just
That really were.
Yeah, just not good people.
Yep.
And and he let them do stuff in his name that gave
Yep.
legitimacy to bullshit, like the Mises Caucus, like those newsletters, and
Right.
really that's the
Well-
that's the thing, you can be a good person, but if you allow your name to be signed on to bullshit, then you kind of wear it.
Well, so this ties to a big discussion that I was having somewhere else. Representative McBride from Delaware, who, I'm hoping that before Marjorie Taylor Greene leaves, she issues some sort of apology to her directly. She apologized for her toxic language. And for people who don't know, Representative McBride has transitioned to female many years ago, was elected as a woman, and Marjorie Taylor Greene and Nancy Mace and a few others passed a bill saying that
She can't use the bathroom.
She can't use the bathroom of her choice.
Yeah.
That if she wants to, she has to go into the men's room in Congress, which is just incredibly insensitive and just a dick move.
I mean, because McBride is far more feminine than
absolutely
than MTG.
Certainly. Now, one of the interesting things that came out of that, though, is that when I started talking about that, a lot of hate in the trans movement for Representative McBride because they feel like she doesn't fight on all the issues, that she is playing the congressional game, blah, 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 blah. And my argument to that is that she believes that the best way that she can help her cause is to be elected. And to be elected, you have to do shit like that. I mean, if there's another way to get elected, then somebody should do that and show and lead that path. But we're in this place where, it's Romney, or I guess it's Hillary, right? Who talks about the fact that Trump put together sort of this coalition of the horribles. But she's not wrong. She's not wrong because there are.
No, she wasn't.
Listen, where she was wrong is to not say there are also plenty of people of good conscience who support Donald Trump because they feel like that's their only alternative to avoid some of the terrible things that they see happening on the other side.
Yeah.
But there are absolutely many of the worst people. Oh, and this is going to lead us into another big news story. Of the worst elements of pre-fascism and racial supremacists. And those people came together to support Trump because and this is my quote for the show. There are a lot of people who support Trump because they think he's destroying the institutions of government, but he's actually only destroying the protections of government. The institution of government, with all its power, is still left intact.
Yeah.
And that's why it's so incredibly dangerous. And so, in this scenario where we have the people who are trying to figure out how to get some power, and they put together people in one of the worst groups that came together, there was this group of people who support Donald Trump called the Oath Keepers. And in fact, I believe the person who went to jail the longest before Trump pardoned him, right, was the leader of the Oath Keepers. Now,
Yeah, it was them or the 3%.
those guys were pretty bad too. The Oath Keepers were very, very visible.
Yeah.
And then there's another one that was like
the
essentially
Proud Boys. The Proud Boys.
The Proud Boys
Yeah,
were pretty bad too.
Enrique Tarrio was one of those that.
Right. Was he Proud Boys or was he Oath Keepers?
Proud Boys.
Proud Boys. Okay. I don't remember who the Oath Keepers guy was. But what's fascinating about it is the Oath Keepers actually were formed on a very simple premise, right? That they wanted everybody to remain true to the oaths of office that they took. And of course, the president and every congressperson says,
Stuart Rhodes.
Thank you. That I will defend the Constitution.
Well.
And yet we had a big scenario, a big brouhaha about that this week, where 6 Democratic law members, all of whom were members of the armed veterans or members of intelligence agencies, made a speech and say, we just want to remind everybody, all the people who are actively serving right now, that you can refuse an illegal order. And in fact, you took an oath that said that you would refuse an illegal order. So in all of these cases, if you're given an order, feel free to refuse it. And we've got your back.
Yep.
To which Trump said that they were committing acts of sedition and should be arrested and hung. Because sedition does carry a capital. It is a capital crime. But how can you possibly think that somebody's doing something wrong if you're telling them to follow their oath of office?
Exactly. Well, and a lot of people think that the oath of office means that you've pledged loyalty to the president. And somebody who serves in the executive, you take an oath of office when you first get in there, which is why I always have a problem with the daily recitation of the Pledge of Allegiance. Is that as a federal employee, you only take the oath once. Why do you have to do it every day as a school child?
Right.
But that mentions the president 0 times. Your oath is to the Constitution, and you are pledging fealty to the Constitution, not to the office, because most of us serve. It doesn't even matter if you're military or what. You will serve beyond the next president, the next election.
Yeah.
And so your fealty should be to the institution of the government, the Constitution, so that you are always protecting and defending the Constitution rather than some temp employee, essentially.
Do you take an oath like that as a federal employee, David?
Yeah. First day we took oath. It's essentially the same oath that they take for Congress. Protect and defend the Constitution.
On my honor, I will do my duty.
No, that's
God and my country.
That's the Boy Scouts.
Help other people at all times, and to obey the law of the pack.
It's interesting in that a lot of people within the Trump think that that was what happened that caused the failure of his first term, was that you had this federal workforce that was working against him. Federal workforce is just going
right.
And this is the thing I always try to explain to libertarians, about the federal workforce, is that people don't go to the office every day and go, how can I screw with these people? It's like, I'm going to my job, I'm doing my job. People tell me what to do. I do the thing. The problem is in the layers of bureaucracy that we've built into it that have, allow one, Congress to run roughshod, and two, allow the executive to run roughshod. Because there's just too much there for any one person to really pay attention to. But yeah, it's
Mm.
when it comes to federal workers and for the most part, nobody gives a shit about the president. Nobody gives a shit about what
Well,
what the president's saying or what the president's doing, other than threatening jobs. That's the one thing that people get concerned about.
and you hear a lot of Trump supporters and a lot of libertarians complain about the deep state. And, it's kind of a nebulous phrase because they don't understand what it means. Sometimes people like to say that it's reference to the Illuminati, the people who secretly.
I'm a Illuminati.
You're just naughty.
I'm just naughty. I put the naughty in Illuminati.
Exactly. Now that's a T-shirt that we should sell.
Actually, no, that I've got that.
It's already there. Okay.
Yeah, the Y-Files does it.
Interesting.
Watch that podcast. That's actually a fun podcast.
I have not watched it.
Watch it. It's good.
I may talk about trigonometry again. Our boy Dave Smith was on there the other day.
Oh boy.
But
Not my boy.
the thing with the deep state is that a lot of what people refer to as the deep state is bureaucracy that was put in place to prevent the state from doing anything quickly.
And yeah,
with good reason.
Most of the stuff that I always talk about when people talk about why does it take so long? I call it the speed of government, and the reason why the government is so
ponderous.
It's a glacier of molasses essentially.
Yeah.
Is because somebody in the past fucked up.
Yeah.
So they throw on a bunch of rules to make sure you don't fuck up like that.
Exactly.
And it's just rule upon rule about. And I've referenced this before in our show that they've tried to count the number of laws on our books that carry a penalty, and they can't. They're federal laws. This is just federal law.
Right. As it turns out,
state, county,
numbers don't go that high.
Tribal. Yeah. It's just the Federal Register, the code of federal regulations, all that stuff. There's just so much there that and it's added to every day. They don't take away stuff. I mean, that was one of the things I kind of liked about the first Trump administration was the idea to take away 2 regulations to put a new regulation in. We don't even see that now.
No.
It's just they're just throwing shit on top of it. And I think they understand the more you throw on top of it, the less people can figure out what the fuck's going on.
Yeah.
But
Brandy's point about nobody remembers why the rule of law was implemented anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, it really is true, or the cause has gone so far away. Like there's another argument talking about Citizens United, and one of the great myths is that Citizens United created corporate personhood that allowed corporations to be treated as a person. But in reality, corporate personhood dates to 1833. Nobody remembers why it happened, but it happened so that people could sue corporations in court. They said you could treat a corporation as a person so that you can sue them for damages. And that's why it happened. But nobody remembers any of that shit anymore because, we have all these old laws and codes and things stuck on top of each other. And, we could probably talk a little bit about the hemp law change. That's also bullshit that came through with the thing.
Yeah.
But to circle back around to this idea of the deep state, a lot of what the deep state is makes it ineffective at doing things. The problem is that it doesn't make it ineffective at accumulating money to not do things.
It's also a boogeyman that allows a politician to use it to point to the deep state. Like, when people tell me, that 9/11 was a conspiracy theory and that 9/11 was an inside job, to me, I'm always like, how many people would you have to keep quiet? Yeah, that's the thing when it comes to conspiracy theories. You have to keep the people involved quiet afterwards. Yeah. And to pull off something along that level, how many people do you have to involve? And that would be, I mean, that would be a massive, especially the way that they describe it, where the Flight 93 never it landed in Cleveland, and they got all the people off of that, and
Yeah.
so all those people on there are sworn to secrecy. The detonations and the charges and all that stuff, and to me, there are far too many people to be involved. The conspiracy theories that work are the ones that or end up being real, the ones that just a few people know,
Right.
and really they think they're doing a good thing because either they're bigoted or
Right.
they're an elitist who think that
Like right.
Tuskegee.
Right. Probably the best one, the best one I think is probably Clayton Bigsby from the Chappelle Show. Right. The black white
The
supremacist.
Klansmen, yeah.
People who aren't familiar with it, I don't want to ruin it too much, but Clayton Bigsby is blind and he doesn't know that he's black. So he's led the movement, and his followers have kept it secret. So there is this conspiracy of keeping who he really is from the public. If you haven't seen that thing, definitely
watch that Chappelle Show episode.
Yeah,
it's a good one. All right, so let's talk about gratitude. I know we've of course everything is we have so many news stories that come out, and I guess we can be somewhat grateful for really existing in this time where you have a bunch of news stories. It's a double-edged sword because you don't want to, like, I really enjoyed during the Biden presidency having those weeks where we could do what's your favorite music, what's your favorite book, and we had great discussions on that because we weren't bogged down with just really stupid news stories, but it provides lots of stuff for us to talk about.
Well, I mean, it's interesting. We I often think it shouldn't be this exhausting.
Oh yeah,
right. Just living and reading the news and Twitter did a thing today where they exposed the nationalities of all the accounts.
Oh yeah,
and that was, I mean, it was very interesting. A lot of really good things came out of that. Like, for example,
lots of national accounts, lots of federal government accounts based in Israel.
I hadn't heard that. I saw that the Times of Gaza was based in Eastern Asia, and I heard that the largest anti-Trump account was based in Kenya.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I think some of it, what I saw, because Department of Homeland Security was based in Tel Aviv, and there, lots of WhiteHouse.gov. I think there's a legal reason why they've got them offshored, that they can do things because they're offshore, that they're, if they were
like Guantanamo.
Well, in a way, politician accounts, you can't kick people off of them.
Right.
In some states, you have rules that you can't kick people off of accounts. So, but yeah, that was an interesting story this week with the Twitter accounts. But yeah, it is a double-edged sword. I'm grateful that we have lots to talk about every week. I just wish it wasn't so exhausting, like every day, just getting in. It's the whole Steve Bannon flooding the zone with bullshit because we've got all these stories every day to talk about, and it's hard to one, keep up, and two, it's like you're on a permanent state of stress. So my hope for 2025 or 2026, sorry, is that we some normalcy comes to us. I don't think so. I think the sesquicentennial, or whatever this centennial is going to be called, is going to be, Trump is going to use it as a, look at me, I'm the great leader and all that stuff. We'll have tanks in the streets again like we did last year. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how 2026 shakes out with the news, and if anything calms down. We know that his first term, nothing calmed down, and then COVID, and then it just went on steroids. It's quite scary. So I'm also thankful. I of course, let's go through the stuff that we all should be thankful for. I'm thankful for my wife. I'm thankful for
Yeah.
Her standing by me every day, being my champion. 23 years of marriage. A couple weeks ago was our anniversary. Um, you know, m- my cat, just being able to relax at home and having my cat come up and hang out with me. That's one of the great joys of my life. Um, even though she judges me and demands treat production, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. I'm grateful to have that opportunity to serve as slave for my cat. Um, I'm we talked about it earlier. I'm grateful for all of you being on this show. I've been doing this. We're almost next month. We're gonna have our 5th anniversary show. That's 5 years of doing this, and seeing my friend Brandy, and really the idea for the show actually comes from my friend Brandy, because she our little friend group from Eastern New Mexico University. She popped in there one day and said, "What are you grateful for?" We talk about what we're grateful for each day, or as often as we can check in. And during the shutdown, and things were hairy. That was it was a nice little respite, a nice little thing to think about. What am I grateful for? And really just I think people, as we get towards Thanksgiving, we do think about what we're grateful for. And it may be kind of hard for people to do that, think about all the little things in life. And there's so much in the world that we can be grateful for. We
Yeah.
we live in a world that has abundance.
Well, I think, yeah, I want to say two things about it. The first is that one of the best things to be thankful about is that you have the ability to recognize the things to be thankful for in your life. Because there's a lot of people who don't recognize how amazing things are, and just complain about them.
Well,
Um,
and we've seen it the last few weeks, where we've had friends and some people, that celebrities that have committed suicide, because this is a very dark time of the year. We know that the holidays
yep.
are a very bad time for a lot of people who are going through things.
Yep.
And what I'm saying is not this end all be all panacea to cure what ails you, because really, if you are going through it, talking to friends, talking to a professional, that's the best way to help yourself. But honestly, sit for a moment each day and just say, you know what, find one thing, just even the smallest thing. The fact that I was able to get up this morning and get out of bed, and I didn't hurt, I didn't sound like a bowl of Rice Krispies, or even if you did, I was able to stand and
Yeah.
and I made myself a breakfast. Start with the small things, and then you'll begin to notice that things begin to multiply as you go through your day, as to what you have to be grateful for, because there are almost every moment that we live is kind of a miracle. Um, when you think about the fact that we are on this spinning ball of rock, and in the middle of a vast universe that stretches for billions of light years.
It's
And
a
and we're
great
here.
big universe, and you're a little puny bit about the size of
Yeah.
Mickey Rooney. Sorry. That's an Animaniac song. Yeah, I mean, there's so many things about it, and to recognize, be able to recognize, how good you have things. And we live in an era where it's easy for everybody to not be appreciated. And I'll never remember. It was like 15 years ago. I'm on a flight, and the stewardess gets on and says, "We're proud to announce that we're rolling out a new service of Wi-Fi available on the plane. And as we're rolling the service out, we're one of the first flights. It's available for everybody for free. So just connect to," they said the name of the SSID, pull out your laptop. This is really before phones had and significant Wi-Fi connectivity in them. And pull out your laptop, and so I do it. The guy next to me does it, and like we're there and we're surfing the internet, and it's not terrible. And then
Just don't surf porn like the congressman.
right, and then it stops working, and the steward gets on the things. We're having some problems with the Wi-Fi. Blah, blah. And next to me, he closes his laptop. He goes, "This is bullshit." I'm like, here we are, presented with this amazing thing, and all of a sudden we're unable to be satisfied because we don't have this amazing thing anymore. I'm like, look, we're sitting in something the size of my house that's flying through air, right? I mean, we partook of the miracle of flight, and we're sitting here complaining because there's no internet.
Yeah.
And there are so many things in our lives that are amazing, and we just don't realize it.
And the whole idea of mindfulness and just if you're into things like meditation, or it just allows you to take a moment and clear your mind of the bullshit, just and exist in your space. And you'll again, talk about think of the little things that go on in your daily life that are, you're thankful for, that you would know if it wasn't there.
And the things that you're able to experience, there are. I remember the first sort of awareness of this. I was probably 3 years old. I was having a conversation with my babysitter, old lady named Mrs. McGraw, and we were eating eggs. And I don't remember exactly what the scenario was, but I only wanted to eat the yolks. I didn't want to eat the egg whites. And she said, there's some people that they can only eat the egg whites. And this is, 1970, 71. And I'm like, wow. I never thought about the fact that there's some people who can't do everything else. That the human experience is not unified. And part of, I think, us being thankful is acknowledging a word that the MAGA people have tried to kill, which is acknowledging our privilege in the world, because there's so much privilege around us. I was out with the chickens earlier this afternoon, and I wasn't sure exactly what had happened. Something had scared them. They were all in the coop. And so I went out there to just sort of look, and I'm like, oh, these idiots, what a pain in the ass. And I stopped and I thought about it. I'm like, Jesus, look at how what I'm complaining about. I'm outdoors it was a really nice day here in Southern Maryland, probably 62 degrees, wind blowing through the trees. It's fall, so we're still getting some leaves coming down.
Yeah.
I'm like, listening to my flock of chickens, and I'm complaining about something. I mean, how privileged am I to have this life, to be able to do this thing?
And I think a lot of people will look at something one way, and they think of it as this. Case in point, this thing right here,
Yeah.
cell phone, social media. It is a blessing and a curse, because one, you see your great aunt talking about how great Donald Trump is and how evil everyone else is, or you can look at the fact that Brandy, who I met in the early '90s in New Mexico, and we've lived thousands of miles apart from each other, are able to connect and remain close to one another.
Yep.
That I'm able to connect with Craig, who I've never met in person, who lives in Maine. I'm able to connect with people all over the world. That's an absolute miracle. Like when I was a kid, that opportunity never seemed realistic to me. That I can at any moment in time watch newscasts from around the world and find out what's going on in Israel, South Africa, even Iran. You can look at all newscasts from all over the world and see what's going on. Getting across, that's the funny thing that the current government trying to censor things and to hide the truth on things. You can't in this world. This thing will get past everything. Um, we that I'm thankful for that. I'm grateful for technology allowing for us to connect and remain close to one another, even if actual distance is between us, and meet people that I would never have otherwise met. Um, I'm grateful for the absolute disintegration of the Libertarian Party. One, because it's allowed me to call my friends list to the good people. Like I got the good people in the
Yeah,
doors.
I'm thankful for the fact that it didn't all go to shit, right? It only like 80% went to shit. And sometimes I think that there is a cycle of creation and destruction, and that we're in a destructive cycle right now. But I'm thankful for the people who believe that we will get out of it and that we will construct something better. Now, that's an optimistic view.
Yeah.
But I am thankful for that optimism in my life, because if I didn't have that, I would be pretty sad and unhappy. And I think that we have to, in talking about things that we are thankful for and being thankful, this fundamental idea that, a friend of mine is a life coach. She coined this phrase that I use all the time. Every tear that is shed in grief was birthed in love. And, we're sitting here and we're complaining about all of these bad things that we say we're not thankful for. We're not able to be thankful because of this, that, and the other thing. But we feel that way because we had good things at one point in time.
Yeah.
And we're able to recognize good things when they happen. And so hopefully that's something that, along the way, we're going to be able to recognize this is a good thing. This is a better thing that's happening. I'm thankful for that. And go.
I know in relationships, there's always the idea that, when one relationship ends, that it isn't the end. It is the beginning of something new. And to, yes, appropriately more on the end of a relationship, but to build towards something new, whether it is, something that you noticed in your last relationship that you didn't do well, that you can work on yourself but it is also learning about the things that you don't like that your partner did that you will not accept in your future relationship. So,
right. I mean, what they always say, right, is that when love goes out the door, sex comes innuendo. Sorry. I'll be here all week.
my God. So Brady talks about extinction birth. There's another concept, the idea that, we've tried to figure out what, how did the universe come into being, and there's, the idea of the Big Bang. There's also the idea that perhaps, there's also talk about multiverses and things like that. But that the Big Bang will eventually shrink back to the singularity. And what happens then? And there's also a theory of the big bounce, that it's going to shrink to a singularity and bam, right back out to a new universe. So I mean, there's yes, when one thing ends, learn from it, and then it will likely, if you learn the right lessons from it, if you apply the right lessons from it, you'll come out on the other end in a much better place, and you'll say, you know what, that relationship ended, but it led me to something so much better. And it's not just a
Yep.
romantic relationship. It could be just a personal relationship with somebody.
It
So
could be an epiphany. There's a lot of self
yeah,
epiphanies that I'm very thankful for that I've been able to make, mainly because I see so many other people fail those tests and not be able to make the realizations
that's
in
me.
their own lives. Well, I mean, I'll tell you something else I'm thankful for. You ready for something gross?
Yeah.
See, look at that. That's my finger.
Oh yeah, you just the tip.
Adjust the tip.
Yeah, that's the wrong way to play the tip game, man.
Yep. Yep. As you correctly got the joke, what did the leper say to the prostitute?
Keep tip.
You can keep the tip. But I'm very thankful. It could have been worse. I was chopping cabbage, and the knife came down just right there, right on that part.
Could have
So
been
it
a lot
didn't-
worse. Yeah.
Could have been so much worse. It was our sharpest knife. It would easily have gone through the bone and taken off a lot more if I'd been less careful. And as it was, I wasn't being careful enough. I wasn't doing this and all that other thing.
Yeah.
But I'm thankful for the fact that I was able to get to a hospital, drive myself to the hospital, and receive medical care. That wasn't great. I just have to say, I saw a PA and she was not good. But I was happy to at least be there.
I mean, when you think 150 years ago, that could have killed you. So I mean, just
Right. I mean, for sure. 150 years ago, I would have probably had to put a tourniquet on. I mean, the reason why I decided to go to the hospital was because I couldn't stop the bleeding. And so I probably would have applied a tourniquet to stop the bleeding and then ended up losing more of the finger than I needed to. In this case, I was able to drive myself to a hospital and I could keep the bleeding under control with compression. And then they applied a tourniquet to stop the bleeding. And then they have this sort of fancy super glue thing that they put on that seals the wound. So I've got like this hard plastic shell on here. It's very exciting.
candy shell,
Yeah, exactly. It's exactly what it's like. Actually, it's
magic shell.
It's pretty good. The only thing about it is that occasionally I think that it's more healed than it is, and I type harder than I should, and then my finger hurts. I'm like, but I'm getting there. I can't complain.
So
6 to 8 weeks for full recovery.
if you are of mine, please put into the chat what you're thankful for this year, as we roll into the quiz. Are you ready for it?
I'm ready.
You ready for the quiz?
I'm ready. Oh, I tell you, it'll be interesting to see if they talk about the moon asteroid. Are you familiar with this?
Oh yeah, that an asteroid might hit the moon.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
That's not interesting. That's kind of frightening when you think about it.
Well, we're gonna do a deep impact on it. Not deep impact. The other one.
Deep dive.
No. The
pushing
movie.
it.
Yeah, they're gonna push it, but I'm trying to remember the movie.
Armageddon.
Armageddon. Thank you.
There we go.
I didn't want to sing this song.
I don't want to hear you sing.
Don't want to close my eyes. Don't want to fall asleep.
No,
Release the files now.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So context clues. Lots of pictures being taken.
Nice.
A couple pieces of shit.
Yeah.
And then release the files. Protest at the Capitol. All right. What do you remember from the week that was? An immigration crackdown, a lavish state visit, a rare painting. What do you remember from the week that was? Yeah, I mean, we didn't even talk about the first off, the quiet piggy comment by Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Which was disgusting, and then the subsequent Oval Office interview with Mohammed bin Salman.
Oh my God, that was the worst.
I mean, that was just embarrassing. Like that is.
Well, I
don't think I've been that embarrassed since the Zelensky thing. That's another thing we didn't even talk about was the peace deal.
Right, that it looks. I mean, it looks grim for Ukraine right now.
It does, and yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's go here.
Very full of UPL. Yeah, Ukapeka looking. Yeah, he does look healthy. So it was a good game today. Which city saw widespread immigration raids this week? Minneapolis, Charlotte, Sacramento, or Orlando?
If I were going to guess,
I know
I
it.
think it's Charlotte.
It is Charlotte.
Okay, because I knew that Charlotte was having raids. I know Boston is getting ready to have a bunch more. But it's interesting because Charlotte's a red state.
Charlotte's a pretty deep blue area within.
I mean, it's a
it's
city.
purple state. I mean, it's a fairly purple state. I mean, they got a Democratic governor. They nominated a shitty Republican governor candidate, but
it's right. It's you're right in that it's a swingish state.
Yeah,
but fundamentally, if they make good barbecue in your state, you're pretty red.
Yeah. So Brandy, John, and Craig got Charlotte.
Yep, Princess Charlotte.
Immigration enforcement operation in the Charlotte area this week resulted in more than 250 arrests of undocumented immigrants. And the shocking number, the one that they try and keep down, is the number of undocumented immigrants without criminal records as they're rounding up. Which is, the whole justification is they're getting rid of the bad people.
Yep.
And it's just not true. I mean, if you want to go after the criminals, just raid Congress and the White House.
Exactly.
All right. Question number 2. How many days was the Justice Department given to all of the Epstein files? All of the Epstein files.
I have
5
no
days,
idea.
15 days, 30 days, or 60 days. I think it's 60, but I'll let the audience weigh in on this one.
I would guess either the fewest or the most. So I'm willing to guess the most.
Oh, Randy says 30. Which
30.
I mean, that makes sense. I don't think that they're going to comply.
It's interesting that John says the cabinet manufacturers based in
North
Carolina.
Yeah, the Triad area in North Carolina is like a huge furniture industry.
Yeah, I bought a sofa from there once.
Yeah. All right.
So Craig also says 30.
Let's do 30.
Let's do 30.
Correct. After Donald Trump signed the legislation to release the Epstein files on Wednesday, the Justice Department was instructed to comply within 30 days. Your miles may vary.
Now, what's interesting about it is, of course, what is the consequences of not complying? Is that in the bill?
I don't know.
I mean, who prosecutes the Justice Department when they don't follow the law? The spanking.
A spanking.
And after the spanking, the oral sex.
Watch Monty Python and the Holy Grail. You haven't watched that, kids.
Yep.
All right, question number 3. A rare painting sold for $236 million at auction this week. Who is the artist behind the record-selling piece? Pablo Picasso, Gustav Klimt, Claude Monet, or Vincent van Gogh?
Pablo Picasso was never called an asshole. Although that's actually probably not true. By all accounts, he was a huge asshole. But at least in his relationship with women. I have no idea. I didn't hear anything about this at all.
I didn't either. Oh,
Klimt. Gustav Klimt.
Gustav
That's
Klimt.
one of my wife's favorite artists. The Kiss is a classic of his. A lot of his stuff at MoMA.
Yes,
that's
Klimt. Portrait of Elizabeth Lederer became the most valuable work of modern art ever sold at auction, fetching $236.4 million.
That's an enormous amount of money.
That is somebody with more dollars than cents. I mean, I'm not going to say don't invest in fine art or don't buy fine art, but that's just ridiculous.
That is ridiculous.
All right, question number 4. Which illness could be more severe in the U.S. this year due to a new virus variant and low vaccination rates? Measles, flu, chickenpox, or RSV?
I am going to guess RSV, but I don't know.
I think it's RSV too.
I didn't realize there was an RSV 1. I am on fire today.
You are.
Yeah. All right. If we
Oh,
both think it's RSV, what?
no,
Greg says
everybody's
flu.
thinking it's flu.
Interesting. I already
Emma
got my
has
flu
flu.
shot.
I need to get my flu shot.
I got
I
flu
usually
and
get it
COVID.
through work.
I
But,
usually get flu and COVID at the same time. That's what I did.
oh God, yeah, I did that once, and I did 4 shots at once. It
You
was like
did flu, COVID,
flu,
shingles,
COVID, shingles, and
pneumocax,
no,
pneumocax.
uh, Hep B.
Have you gotten the pneumonia vax?
Yeah, I got the pneumonia
Okay.
vax when I turned 50.
All right. Good. All right. So would you say flu? All
Flu.
right.
Health experts say the U.S. may be headed into a severe flu season, driven by a mutated strain called Subclade X that's behind the surges in the UK, Canada, and Japan.
Fucking Canadians.
Yay! Yeah, flapping a heads full of lies. Question number 5. President Trump has promised to send tariff rebate checks to Americans next year for which of the following amounts? $0, $0, $0, or $0. No, it's $1,000, $2,000, $4,000, or $7,000.
It's $2,000, but it's going to come in March. So that's actually only going to be worth $1,400. But I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
But
well, no, so that's the problem, and people, we did this exercise in the first Trump administration with all of the COVID bailouts, and it was $2,000
yeah,
to send to everybody. Um, Coupled with the PPP loans, which
yep,
is why the bill was $2 trillion and only a certain number of people got the $2,000 payment.
yeah. I was going
Um,
to say this is slightly different in that it's much more needs based.
well, but the first one was needs based. If you made over $150,000 that previous year, even if you weren't working because of COVID, you didn't get it was based off your previous year's taxes. So if you weren't working, you didn't get the COVID money then.
Interesting.
So yeah, uh, this is going to be needs based as well. But again, it's putting $2,000 into everyone's pockets, which at least a significant number of people's pockets, sounds great until you understand the scarcity and
Right.
the effect on inflation that those stimmy checks that we got back in 2000
Yep.
continue to wreak on our economy today.
Yep.
Question number 6. Which basketball player holds the record for the longest career in NBA history? Michael Jordan, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, LeBron James, or Wilt Chamberlain?
Well, this we know. It was LeBron who just broke the record.
Ah, because Kareem was the one that held it before.
He did, but LeBron has passed him.
Los Angeles Lakers star LeBron James began his 23rd season in the NBA this week, marking the longest career in the NBA history. Now, to be fair, Wilt Chamberlain played 4 years in college because you didn't come out early in the NBA. LeBron
LeBron,
never played a game in
0
college.
years in college.
Yeah, never
Exactly
played a
right.
game in college. Went right from high
Right.
school to the NBA.
Right.
Not saying
Kareem,
that playing 23 years is not a remarkable accomplishment, but if
yeah, they
Lou
retired.
Alcindor was available to come out from high school and play in the NBA.
Exactly right. And he could have, and certainly Will Chamberlain could have as well.
Yeah, I mean, those UCLA teams that Kareem were on, well, Lou Alcindor was on, were absolute powerhouses.
Yep. John Wooden.
Yeah. Question number 7: Who was invited to the White House this week for a lavish state visit? It wasn't a official state visit because he's not the official head of state.
Yep.
But he is Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman.
Yeah.
The other choices were Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. We know he didn't get a good welcome at the White House.
Yep.
Or French President Emmanuel Macron. But
we know it's MBS.
MBS,
and
because
one of the fascinating things is there's a congressman now, and his name eludes me, who, as part of what he did, reviewed the 2019 phone conversation, the transcript between President Trump and MBS. And he has insisted that needs to be made public. He's like, because there's stuff in there that doesn't need to be classified at all, but is information that is critically important to the United States. And I'm very interested in that.
the Fresh Prince of Bandar.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, that guy's a cold-blooded killer.
He is. I mean, uh, the people that, if you pay attention to how when he came to power, what he did, and he is the crown prince, but his father, is it Faud?
Yes.
No, it's Salman. I'm sorry, bin Salman. But so King Salman, the head of Saudi Arabia, uh, pretty old, pretty not in the best mental shape to run the country. So MBS is the de facto leader of Saudi Arabia, and
Yep.
there are some things that he's done that are trying to modernize the country.
Sports
Uh,
washing.
the sports washing, the investment in trying to build new cities, the Neom development, the development
AI.
of Al Ula as a tourist destination, which is really the kingdom was never really like a tourist destination before. They've opened up some areas of the country to tourist destinations.
Yep.
So I mean, he's doing some modernizing thing, like women can drive now, but they're couple that with the fact that he ran off most of the Saudi royal family when he
Yep.
took over, and the good Jamal Khashoggi murder,
Right.
and still brutal human rights abuses.
Yeah. And fundamentally, it's still a hereditary monarchy.
Yeah. I mean, uh, it's interesting in how it is going to play out in the future, because usually when a Saudi king came to power after the first couple of kings, they were all much older.
Yep.
Ibn Saud had
73 children,
yeah,
73 male children.
like a shit ton of kids, and those guys had shit tons of kids. So yeah, the
There's no lack of heirs.
there are no lack of heirs. There's no lack of hands in the pot there. So, but
Right.
he's trying to control that. We'll see.
Yeah, he's a bad guy.
Yeah. Question number 8: which cryptocurrency recently lost all of its gains for the year? Dogecoin, Ethereum, Bitcoin, or Tether?
I don't know this,
I
but I'm
heard it
going to
was
guess
Bitcoin.
Dogecoin.
No, it was Bitcoin.
Really?
Lost it. I think it temporarily lost all of its gains for the year, and then it came back up. But we'll wait for the audience on this one, just his word. Are you Dogecoin? Lord knows why that thing is.
Do you know how much money the Trump family made on their coin?
The billions.
$5 billion the day it was
I mean,
released.
that's the the crazy thing, the grift of this administration, and the guy that they the 60 Minutes interview where they talked about him releasing the was it Binance, uh,
Yep.
the
Yeah.
releasing that guy. He had no clue. I'm sure he had a clue, because that guy floated him $2 billion.
Yeah.
Like, you're gonna know who that dude is.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we got a lot of people saying Bitcoin. It is Bitcoin. Just 6 weeks after notching a record high above $126,000, Bitcoin recently erased all of its gains for the year.
I mean, that's pretty crazy. Still, that fluctuation.
Still up. Yeah, I mean, it's still, I don't know if it's still above or triple or 6 digits, but it's still impressive. I still don't trust cryptocurrency.
But it's currently at 87,000.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
didn't realize it was that much.
That's a hemorrhage.
That is, so let's just say that it went down to, look at it. Well, it went down to about 80,000. So 120 to 80 is a 33% loss in value. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah. What is the Cambridge Dictionary 2025 word of the year? Parasocial, polarization, demure, or manifest? I mean, if it's up to influencers, it's manifest. If it's up to, I think parasocial maybe.
I think it's going to be parasocial.
Which I don't even know what the hell that means.
Yeah. But what's interesting about it is I did see a really clever thing where a person is talking about a lifestyle where you choose to not use apps on your phone.
Oh, that might be it.
And they call it abstinence, which I think is really funny.
Abstinence. Yep. I bet you
there's an app
for it.
Exactly right.
All right, let's try parasocial. See what happens. Correct. Yes. The dictionary name parasocial is its word of the year. The word is used to describe a connection that people feel with someone they don't know, or even with an artificial intelligence. I asked this. I think we did a show on cheating last year. I was scrolling on my Facebook feed, and there was an ad for some
Mail
AI
order bride.
chat bot. No,
Yeah.
essentially, it's like your AI girlfriend, and I'm like, first off, I mean that's kind of creepy, really weird. Um,
Yeah.
but then, would you consider that cheating if you had an AI girlfriend and you were or a boyfriend, flip it either way, and you were in a committed relationship? Would you consider that cheating?
I think that you have to define it on what the relationship is. But if
Yeah,
you have a relationship with a person that is based on you guys being the closest, most trusting, intimate people that you are,
yeah.
then if you violate that by moving somebody else ahead of them on the list, then that is cheating.
I mean, yeah, I think if you're wasting your time with AI chat bot versus your actual at home uh,
Yeah.
love interest, then yeah, you're absolutely cheating. I think that's where it is. I mean, I don't consider it cheating if you're just talking to to AI to like I put shit in Chat GPT all the time.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I
No,
mean,
I
I'm
mean,
cheating with my wife
I,
because
I am
I'm asking
so
questions.
yeah, I am so heavily into agentic AI now. I really use it for all of my 80% of my coding work is done with agentic AI. And it's nice because it does stuff. On the other hand, you know, there's no intimacy there,
Yeah,
and
I mean,
that's the critical thing about
I
it.
think John hit it because I asked my wife when I first saw that. I was like, "Would you consider that cheating? Like, if somebody was in a relationship and they?" She's like, "Oh, absolutely." I'm like, "Say no
There
more."
you go.
You've made that decision easy.
Yep. Next,
Question
10
number
out of 10.
10 for another perfect week because we've got Brandy here. What is the widely considered biggest annual event in the fashion world? Paris Fashion Week, New York Fashion Week, the Fashion Awards, or the Met Gala?
I think it's New York Fashion Week, but it could be Paris Fashion Week. I know in The Devil Wears
Yeah,
Prada, it's Paris Fashion Week.
yeah. The I heard that they did some changes for the Met Gala this week, so I don't know if this is why that question was prompted. And Brandy says
Brandy
Met.
says it's the Met. Okay, I mean, I believe that can be as well.
I mean, I think I would have if it was up to me, I would have probably chose Paris Fashion Week. But having heard that story this week, I think maybe
Yeah,
it is the Met.
and it looks like that's a dress with a giant train, which I know
Maybe
people
the
do at the Met
AOC.
Gala.
Maybe it's
Maybe
that AOC.
Tax the Rich. Oh, it's
Yeah.
Anna Winter. All
Oh
right.
yeah, Met Gala is often called the biggest fashion's biggest night. This week, the Met Museum announced that its 2026 Met Gala theme is costume art.
All right.
Lord have mercy, that's gonna be an interesting one. So 10
10
out
out
of
of 10.
10. Does my button work now? Yeah,
That's nice.
yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's some good stuff.
All
The
right. Well,
reggaeton horn.
once again, you guys have wasted 90 minutes listening to us
I'm
when,
thankful for all of you. Thank you, Brandy, Carol, Craig, Janice, John. Heidi was here earlier. Jake was here earlier with Heartland Newsfeed. You know, all of you make this show. Dan's all right. Dan's all right. Yeah, I'm thankful for Dan. Dan makes the show. But
I'm thankful for Dave
yeah,
and all of the guests that he named before, and all of the guests who didn't make it this week, but we hope to
yeah,
see again soon. Who
yeah.
and the lurkers? That's
All the
exactly right,
workers,
Dr.
Chuck.
Milton, and
Yeah,
all the
Chuck.
people who watch the replays on YouTube or Facebook or wherever.
We're on TikTok tonight, so this is
Yeah,
Brave New World. But honestly, thank you for watching us. Thank you for chiming in, joining us on the quiz or You make this show as we get to the 5th anniversary. There was a question I think Craig asked if we're going to try and have some of the past hosts on here. I'm going to try and get some of the past hosts. I know some of the past hosts have sworn off podcasts, so we'll see. The invitation is going out. I'd like to have a big group here. We talk about 5 years of the political deep dive here, not next weekend, but the weekend after that will be our 5th anniversary show. So, and we'll talk about the night that I got really drunk on there. So
we'll talk about the accomplishments, the great things, the way that the show has changed the world.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, thanks everybody for joining us this week, and we will talk to you all next week. Have a good one, everybody.
Good night, Gracie.
Good night, Gracie.
The seat you know I want, and just forgot to choose. I guess you